Well, ladies and gentlemen, as of today, we do know that that secret hero that was going to be spoiled at some point is indeed Yoji, the hero that we talked about in one of the more recent tinfoil hat theories that I had. I surmised that that hero was going to be named Yoji Royal Protector, which was sort of an easy call because they kind of set it up to be, and it turns out, yes, it is Yoji the Royal Protector, and not only that, you're going to be able to get him in cold foil in next month's Armory kit, which I think is going to be very fun. This is kind of what they did with Icelander to some degree. Like, they allowed you to get, I think it might have been exactly Icelander. No, maybe it wasn't Icelander that you could get. I can't recall. You could get the Icelander playmat in the Armory kit. I know that. But I think you could get like the Icelander like stuff, like leading up to it with Kraken's Aether Vein and stuff like that. Nevertheless, you can get Yoji Royal Protector this coming month, like in a couple of weeks, with the Armory kit that is currently shipping out. And not only that, we're going to talk about the hero in a second, but look at what else you can get. You can get a new wizard card that, I'm not going to lie, I'm actually more excited for than Yoji Royal Protector. Not to say he's not a cool hero, but this is a pretty cool card that I have some very deep feelings about. Also, you get this playmat, which is called Imperial Edict. So you can expect that to be a card from the upcoming Dynasty set, as well as a Dynasty playmat. Some cool posters to give out as well. Okay, let's talk about the hero. Let's see if I can just pull him up on the screen, because it may just be easier. So Yoji the Royal Protector is a 4 intellect, 22 health guardian. He is not a draconic guardian, he is just a guardian. And he's really not necessarily built for like blitz. I mean, you could play him in blitz, but he's not necessarily built for blitz play. What he is built for are some of my, one of my favorite formats in the game, and that's Ultimate Pit Fight. Ultimate Pit Fight's a format wherein, think of it like a 4 to 5 player multiplayer in the game. And you can only attack the people to your left or your right. And in doing so, you're basically trying to eliminate your opponents and be the last person standing. Well, Yoji Royal Protector is going to be very interesting in that format because he says once per turn instant, pay 3. So if you're running a lot of blues like Guardians do, paying 3 is just pitch a blue. The next time another target hero would be dealt damage this turn, instead, that damage is dealt to Yoji and prevent 1 of that damage. So basically, you can at any point be the bargaining person, be the politic playing person and say, hey, I will help you out, I will take this hit, I will protect you, I will pitch a card from my hand to do so, and I'll mitigate a little bit of it. But honestly, I'm just going to take this hit for you if you would be so kind as to not hurt me. That's basically what he says, which is kind of cool. If you enjoy Ultimate Pit Fight, then he's a hero that you're definitely going to want to mess with. And honestly, he's got a counterpart, or perhaps I should say a foil, in this same sort of vein in Guardian as a class in Valda. Valda is a very aggressive hero that wants to kind of think about herself and push a lot of damage towards like different people by building up these seismic surges. Yoji here's like the opposite. He's like, look, I will take these hits, I will protect you, I will sacrifice cards from my hand to do so. I'm basically just going to play the politics game and feed off the goodwill. It's all group hug, don't hurt me, that sort of thing. And that's why I think he's going to be really interesting, because they have the same amount of health, but they play fundamentally differently. Now, the other interesting thing that he fits into very nicely, and this is something people are already talking about, is PvE, player versus environment, story mode kind of campaign things. Because if you are playing that, then Yoji the Royal Protector acts as a really good tank, as far as a defensive tank, sort of like a paladin would to some degree in a D&D campaign where they can tank a bunch of damage essentially. And he plays well in that because he can tank damage and protect other players who could be more squishy and prone to dying. And Yoji here allows players to kind of take on that role and possibly really do well in PvE. And that's a really interesting thing because this is not the only hero that plays well in PvE. Some of the heroes from the Everfest set also are really setting themselves up to play well in PvE as well. And if that's the case, and PvE comes down the pipeline in 2023, so in this next calendar year from this point, we could have some really interesting things going on next year with all of the tournaments that we're going to see across the world with callings galore and pro tours and another world championship that we're very close to getting to the world championship this year. Of course, we're going to have another one next year. We're going to have national championships. We're going to have ProQuest, all these tournaments for competitive play. They also have the capacity to push Ultimate Pit Fight, to push team events at these large-scale tournaments, and to push PvE experiences, which could be very, very good for the game. Both if you just run like giant PvE events at conventions and large-scale tournaments as a side event, but also at the armory level. If you run these PvE events at the armory level, you and your friends get together and basically play a version or a variant of Dungeons and Dragons to some degree, and you work through a quest line, and you earn like OP reward kit stuff. That could really, really do some stuff. And Yoji here, I think, is tailor-made for that. Okay, before we talk about anything else, holy crap, I need to tell you why this card is so cool. Blessing of Aether is a one-cost promo. It looks like it is a cycle because if we look at the very first thing here, it does appear that it comes in red, yellow, and blue, so this is a cycle. We can assume that this card exists in the game in the scenario of like a rare. I feel like this could be a rare. If this is a common, this has very wide-ranging implications on the game. But what this essentially says and does as a wizard action and as an aura, says at the start of your turn, destroy Blessing of Aether. So this is at the start of your turn. And a wizard oftentimes plays on your opponent's turn. So this is a really good balancing act right here. But at the start of your turn, destroy Blessing of Aether. Then if the next card you play this turn, has to be the next card you play this turn, has an arcane damage effect, instead, it deals that much arcane damage +3. And the red says +3. We can assume that the yellow says +2 and the blue says +1. This card blocks 2, so it's a real detriment to have if you're playing something like a Kano, and it is not great if you're, as far as blocking is concerned, if you are playing, like Icelander. But maybe this, works for the Emperor as well. But blocking, who cares? Who cares about blocking? Because this card is Stir the Aether Winds, minus the part where you have to like give something an instant. This is just a cleaner Stir the Aether Winds with balance to it, because Stir the Aether Winds you could play at an instant speed and then do stuff on your opponent's turn, whereas this still gives the +3 buff to something like a Forked Lightning on your turn. Like you could play Forked Lightning after this and things could be insane. Because like you go Blessing of Aether on your previous turn, set up a +3 buff on your own turn of arcane damage, block a couple cards away, take the Tunic resource, use it to Crucible of Aetherweave, and then come in with Forked Lightning pitching one card. Maybe the Forked Lightning was Arsenal, maybe you kept one blue in hand, blocked with 3 cards from your hand because your opponent doesn't want this effect to gain value. And then you come across with Forked Lightning for 12. Stir the Aether Winds is back, but it's more balanced. Like even if you, like let's say you're playing Kano, right? Even if you Kano this off the top, it still enters the arena and still triggers only on you the start of your turn. So it is balanced in a way that doesn't allow your opponent to feel bad because they get blown out on their turn, but you can still blow them out on your own turn. Do the thing where you basically rip cards from hand and then blow them up on their turn anyway. And if you're playing this in blue, you can establish it on your opponent's turn on as Icelander by paying 1. Now you're not getting the benefit of like a Frostbite or whatever, but if you wanted to, you could like Arsenal this and then establish it on your opponent's turn, and basically just use the card refill from the end of your turn to pay for this if you're like threadbare on resources. So it has play. This card has play in every wizard that we know about, and we can assume, of course, if you're playing the red here, that this has play in the Emperor as well, who's a warrior wizard that can only play red cards. This card is so well made, and whoever made it at Legend Story Studios, you have my heart. because Stir the Aether Winds, it's one of those cards that just feels real good to win with. And this card is a balanced Stir the Aether Winds. This card is nuts and I love it. And it may be so well balanced that it doesn't necessarily always make the cut in certain plays. But you know what? I really like it. I think it's really cool. And I am super hyped for this card. Oh man, this card is so cool. Okay, before we get finished and wrapped up, I do also want to point this out. They did announce today the prizing, I guess is the best way to say it, the prizing for the World Championship. Where is it? I think maybe it's on Twitter. Maybe the best place to find it is on Twitter. But they did announce the prizing, and the prizing for the World Championship is incredible. Okay, so I actually had to go looking in my own Discord. By the way, shout out to my Discord and my Discord mods. They always catch everything that is going on, even stuff like this that's not technically on like the main website. This is on the Channel Fireball like World Championship page. These are the prizing like things that you get for showing up. First of all, the gold foil main event package, you get a Sink Below playmat, which is so cool. You get the promo, of course, which is this Tales of Adventure. I talked about this in a recent video as well, but you get some sweet Heart of Fiendal sleeves. Those sleeves are amazing, incredible. You get the same exact thing, by the way, across all of these packages, except the just playing in the calling. Entry into the calling here is just the sleeves. You don't get the playmat. So go consider, if you're going to go to the World Championship, of which I'm pretty sure I'm going to go. I am fairly certain. I do have a flight booked. I'm just considering and weighing all my options with, my wife and my family. Either way, I know that these prizes are incredible. These prizes are super cool. And if you were looking for a reason to go to the World Championship, this is one of those contributing factors. Look at that. So there you go, ladies and gentlemen. That is your impromptu video of the day. I figured I'd put one out on this subject because we do now know what this hero does, who this hero is, and we got perhaps the coolest card, or the card that has me the most hyped, which is a wizard card. Of course, I'm biased. I love wizards. So if you enjoyed this video, if you got something out of it, feel free to make the number climb up a little bit higher and leave me a comment down below with what you enjoy out of all of this stuff the most. As always, thanks for watching.